Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat. Ivan Toney, he's been the talk of the town this past weekend. The media has featured a lot of coverage on him after Brentford welcomed him back from a 6-month ban. We're going to talk about him today. We're going to talk about what his return means for Brentford, whether he'll leave and where he could go if he does leave. So let's talk about Toney and the situation. I think there's a lot of fear that actually he wouldn't be hitting the ground up and running. I think a lot of people forgot that he wasn't injured. He didn't miss playing football. He has remained fit. And actually, I think we saw that with his return. He looked like he hadn't missed a beat.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's not something unusual. Obviously, Trippier came back from his ban, was still the player he was. Toney looks to be exactly the same. Getting banned for 6 months doesn't change someone's footballing ability. It's not like an injury. They're not going to put them off.
No. There is always that fear that they're not going to be the same player when they come back, because it is 6 months of at least competitive, professional football they miss. Of course, Toney would have been training with the first team, you'd imagine. He's been playing for the B team and I think it is the B team, isn't it? The under-23s team that he's been playing with, and he's been doing well for them. But now he's made his return to Brentford. He did well against Nottingham Forest, looked sharp, obviously got that goal. That's been very controversial, and I'm not too keen to give a take on that in this video, other than I don't really know where the outrage is. Obviously, he did move the ball, but it's football.
Yeah.
Get over it, not on Forest. But yeah, don't really understand the frustration there. Toney, a very good player and scored in his return. I think the big speculation out about where he's going to go next is very, very interesting. Because for me, I would expect him to see out the second half of the season with Brentford, just because Brentford are in that relegation fight at the moment. Toney, I don't think many people are going to want to take a gamble on a player that's only just come back from a ban for gambling offences, only just come back into playing professional football. They'll want to see 6 months of him, I think, before anyone makes a move. But talks have been had, we believe, with Chelsea and with Arsenal. I think have both made inquiries regarding him this January. So yeah, there's a lot to be done there. What do you think is going to happen? Do you see him moving in January or not?
I mean, I think it's up to Toney, clearly, because Brentford, on this return, made it very clear they want him to stay. The WWE-like entrance, captain's armband, started the game, playing.
And even the intro post, they put on their Twitter, and I presume they're in, so though I didn't see it there, that they put "The King returns" and all this. Literally the day after Toney done an interview saying that if a big club was to come in for him, he'd like that move because he wants to play for a big club. I find this whole situation bizarre. It's like the two aren't communicating. I don't know any other club in the world where your star player is saying he wants to leave.
Yeah,
he's not. The thing is, he's not really kicking up a fuss, and Brentford don't have to sell him. But Toney is still saying he'd like to move. I find it a little bit disrespectful as well from Ivan Toney, because Brentford have stuck by him, through all this ban. They haven't brought in a replacement or anything. They're expecting him to come back into the first team now. They're giving him this platform to push on to a bigger club. You think the least he could do is see out the next 6 months, keep him up in the Premier League, and then move on in the summer when they've got time to find a replacement. They're not going to be able to do that in this window, or at least an adequate one. They'll find a striker, of course, and I'm sure Neil Mope will chip in with a few, but maybe 2 more this season. But yeah, for me, Toney, I expect Brentford to want to keep him to the end of the season. Although they definitely want to keep him forever if they could. But I expect they'll be very keen on making sure he stays until the summer for Toney. Obviously, he'd like the move, because if he doesn't get the move now and he performs badly for the second half of the season, does that give rid of any chance of him getting a move? So I can understand from his point of view why he wants that move, especially with the Euros in the summer. But I think he owes it to Brentford, and Brentford deserve him staying until at least the summer. But we're not here to talk. We're not going to be boring. We're going to speculate. Where does he go? There's a lot of suitors at the moment for Ivan Toney. There's a lot of teams need a striker. Where does he go? Let's talk through the options.
Yeah, it's a tough one for any team, because, as you say, it's the lack of professional football. It's the risk of maybe more offences. It's a huge risk. Which is why, I mean, you talk about...
He's quite an outspoken player as well. I think that adds a little bit of risk there. Teams, clubs, particularly the big clubs, don't like players that speak out like that. No. We saw the same with Jadon Sancho, how he's been vilified by the manager, how he's been vilified by the fans. They don't like players. Yeah, they don't like players who come out and speak... I mean, I speak it against the club,
That. You can't... Yeah, that's the problem. Clubs now have to look at it. Do we want a player who airs his dirty laundry in public? There
is a difference, isn't there, between saying I'm not happy with what's going on at the club right now and actively saying I'd like a move away. I think that the 3 different teams or players and examples we've spoken about there are completely different situations, but they all echo the same sort of thing. I think Lukaku's was right because he openly came out and said, I want to move away, I don't like it here. That was very bizarre. Then Sanchez is different because he just complained about the club situation and the fact he wasn't playing much. But he didn't come out and do an interview where he's saying, "Oh, Ten Hag's a dickhead." He just got frustrated. Yeah. And then Toney, I think the lines are quite blurred here as to whether it's disrespectful or not. A few people are arguing it is, a few people are arguing it isn't. All he said was he'd like a move to a bigger club. Is that not the aspiration of every footballer?
Exactly. That's the thing. The only difference is he spoke it and not thought it. Every player will think that. Every single player, no matter who you play for, will think that they'd love a big move.
Yeah.
And the difference is though he said it, because every player thinks it. He said it, and should he have? Probably not, because it can be viewed as disrespectful. But at the end of the day, he is just speaking what everyone thinks.
Yeah, to be honest, as a fan, I do respect him for it in a way. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one in terms of where he goes. What clubs do you think will be in for him?
I mean, Chelsea do not need him.
Why not?
Oh, Chelsea needs to stop buying players. And
but if Armando Broja leaves and Jackson's off at AFCON, who do you propose plays up front?
But stop Nkunku. I honestly don't care. Stop taking gambles. We can't keep Chelsea can't keep gambling.
I agree to a certain extent.
And I
don't think Ivan Toney's a gamble though, because he's a Premier League proven striker who notched up 18 goals last season. He got one last weekend.
Will it come out in a couple of months that he's going to get another ban? Who knows?
I can't imagine he's been gambling while he's been on a ban for gambling.
No, but you do see that happen sometimes. Players get banned, and Trippier didn't have a scare.
It would only be if he relapsed into his addiction. But you'd like to hope he's got a team around him now that would prevent that. But
you never know. It's a risk, isn't it? And that's kind of a shadow that he's always going to have over him.
Of course, but it didn't stop Newcastle taking the plunge on Kieran Trippier, and he's been excellent for them.
He has been, and equally they also got scammed out of Tonali, so it works both ways.
That was a much bigger scandal though, involving loads of players in Italy. So yeah, for me though, I don't see Toney relapsing. Obviously, I hope he doesn't for the sake of his career, but.
I'm sure from a club's point of view, it's a risk.
I think he would be a great addition to Chelsea. I think it'd be a great addition for Arsenal. Arsenal definitely need a striker right now. They haven't got strikers who have high volume scoring potential. If you look at Gabriel Jesus, he's a fantastic creator, and actually, I think he'd be better deployed on the wings. In terms of Edin Nketiah, he's not very good. He's okay, but he's not very good. He's not a high level, high volume goal scorer. So I think he should definitely be someone Arsenal are looking at right now. I know they're also looking at Dominic Solanke, which I think is a more affordable option. The problem now that Toney has is that nobody has money to spend in January.
Also, that's it. That Arsenal and Chelsea for me are that. Who else?
Manchester United.
He don't want to go there. I'd rather play Brentford.
What?
And they've got Højlund.
Yeah, they do have Rasmus Højlund, but could they not play together?
No. They're both number 9s. You see it all the time. Pitt will try and play two strikers up front together who just don't work.
Okay.
They're very solo number 9s. They like to be up there by themselves, do all the heavy pulling. And Højlund looks like he's coming into a little tiny bit of form at the moment. And for Toney, don't go there. With all the problems he's had, with how outspoken he is, he'd be a terrible signing for United in terms of off the pitch. And for him, who wants to play for Man United at the moment?
Fair enough. Just simply putting out some options. Tottenham. Could they be in for Ivan Toney? They don't really have a striker at the moment. Obviously, Son's played there for a bit. Richarlison now is playing there in Son's absence. Is Toney that long-term Kane replacement they've not signed yet?
If I'm being unbiased, that's a brilliant deal for both. If I'm being biased, I do not want him to go to Tottenham because that's not very fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's 100% suited to the way they play. I think he's okay on the counter-attack. If you look at Toney's play style, obviously, he's quite the... What's the word? The favoured, the popular mould of player right now. If you look at Erling Haaland, what makes him great is that he's strong, he's great in the air, and he can finish, and he's quick. He's got everything. He's the complete package. Toney's very similar in that regard. Obviously, his output isn't as high as Haaland's. He's not as strong or as quick, but he's, I'd argue, better in the air than Erling Haaland. I'd also... it's a tight one, but I think he's better in the air.
I don't know. I'd give him penalties.
Yeah, but equally they're penalties, who cares?
I'll just fucking smash it in the gut. Toney places it really nicely.
But yeah, I think in terms of Tottenham's counter-attacking system, is he best suited to it?
Maybe not.
Possibly not, but he does offer them something they don't have at the moment, which is an outlook for that long ball. If they do panic and smash it forwards, no one for them is winning the header. Toney would win the header.
If Kane wasn't at Bayern, I think Bayern would be a great suit for Toney. Move abroad, new start, fresh beginnings, different country, and he'd absolutely tear it up. Obviously, they've got Harry Kane and Choupo-Moting.
Here's a shout for you.
What?
Barcelona.
They've got Lewandowski.
He's not scored. Lewandowski's out of form. They need a striker. They like spending money and then not telling anyone where they got it from. So,
yeah.
Could Toney be what Barcelona need?
It's a big risk.
For who? Toney or Barcelona? I think it's a big risk for Toney as well.
Because both could end up in trouble off the pitch.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be brilliant for both, but I think it's also a big risk for both.
They don't suppose each other. I get what you're saying,
If I was any football player, I wouldn't touch Serie A.
The potential's very high, but it could also go very wrong. Yeah, the Serie A don't have any money, so no. I don't see how Toney can make a move out there. No one's going to have.
No one's going to pay.
No one's going to have the money in Serie A right now.
Involves some allegation because he wouldn't get his.
Unless Napoli sell Osimhen to buy Toney, but I don't think he'd go there anyway.
That'd be very silly for them to downgrade.
Would it?
Yes.
Well, they would also make a fair bit of money.
They would.
Napoli.
Downgrade.
Yeah, but how else are you going to replace Victor Osimhen?
You don't keep him forever. Lock him up.
Toney. Other options, I mean, I don't really see a Borussia Dortmund being able to afford him, but he'd be exactly what they need in terms of a goal scorer that can come in and challenge for the title.
If he was older, a lot older, like in his 30s, MLS, get him out there.
Why?
Don't know. They can suit it.
That's the rogue suggestion.
No.
Why?
He's just one of those players I can see him in his 30s playing for Inter Miami.
Not 30s. I could see a 38-year-old Ivan Toney, yeah. I don't think he'd be into Miami. Way too franchised. It'd be like a
No, I think you would. Don't you?
Dallas FC or a Colorado Rapids or something. Like when Josie Altidore went out to.
Yeah, maybe he won't go. I
remember where he went. FC Toronto, something like that.
Yeah,
it's Canada, isn't it?
Nowhere near Vegas. Yeah, you might like that.
No, I don't think there's no teams in Vegas out there anyway, so.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Just keep him out.
He'd probably be all right, but yeah, sure. I think. Yeah, I don't think it's going to make a move in January because nobody's got any money.
No.
I don't see, therefore, I don't see him moving in January. It's the summer. Do options become available? Definitely, because people will have money.
6 months goes.
Prize money comes in, TV money comes in, and the FFP clears for a new year, so they have that option. But yeah, I don't really see. I think if he's going to move anywhere, it's going to the Premier League. I don't know where else in Europe he'd really go. PSG, it would be a weird fit. Would it work? Maybe. He'd scored a lot of goals in the league and is in man's leading forward in the Champions League? Probably not. I think, therefore, Premier League is the best option for him. In terms of being able to pay his wages, they're the only clubs that could. In terms of being able to afford him, they're the only clubs that could. So, in terms of that afford thing we talk about with Toney, what do you think his value is right now? Because obviously he has had 6 months out of the game. His market value has definitely taken a bit of a tumble, but Brentford are in a strong negotiation position right now. They've got enough money to tick and buy. They're not struggling for cash. Toney's tied down to a relatively long-term deal. I believe it's 2026, 2025 maybe.
Yeah.
If it's 2025, they're in a bit of trouble. I think it is 2026 though. So in that regard, they're all right for now. So where do you see his market value being?
50.
50?
Yeah.
50? Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I think it's a big risk for anyone who buys him.
I have to say, I think you're quite a bit off.
No.
I think considering Rasmus Højlund went for 70 million,
yes,
I believe it was.
Idiots.
I think if you take all the other signings out, I think Toney's a lot closer to 100 million.
No.
He's homegrown at club. He's a homegrown player. That's big. European quota players. You need players who are homegrown, which I don't think Arsenal City are at risk of failing, but he is an option.
The problem is, I think asking me right now in January, he's at 50 million, but if he comes back with the same form he does and gets sold in the summer, I think potentially, yeah, you are looking at around that 70 million mark.
I think Brentford have said they wouldn't sell him for less than 100.
No.
Well, they're in a strong negotiation position.
That's silly.
Ivan Toney, they're going to ask the most they can.
No, but Ivan Toney's not worth 3 figures.
Why not?
He's not that good.
Not that good.
He's not. He's not.
I believe 18 goals in the Premier League last season at a side that
that's not
aren't that
worth
impressive.
100 million.
Is it not?
No, it's not. Really.
What is then?
What is worth 100 million? Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And how many goals has he scored this season?
Toney's not at the same ability level as Jude Bellingham.
But you can't just measure it on goals.
How much would you say Haaland's worth?
Haaland, 250. No one's buying him for any less than that, are they?
Yeah, probably.
If you go to City and go, can I have Haaland for 50 million? They're not going to go, go on then. It's at least 200 million. I'd say probably 250 million for Haaland, right?
Haaland.
For Toney,
No.
I think 100 million is fair.
No.
Brighton have slapped 120 million on Evan Ferguson.
They're idiot. They're not.
Because he's young.
They're not going to get that kind of money.
No, they don't want to. But if someone's stupid enough to pay it or bold enough to pay it.
Reasonable values.
Market.
Oh, so we're trying to... Brentford would probably put him on 150.
No, they probably... They don't do that. But, yeah, I think if you look at other forwards selling at the moment, Kane went for 90 million. And he is, 31?
And I'd say Kane's £20 million better than Toney.
But you said 50 million.
Well, no, I said...
You've done changing.
No, I said 50 million in January, 70 come the summer. If he comes back with the same form.
I think it could be worth more because of age. What?
Toney's not an £100 million player.
What metric are you using to say he's not?
Just ability-wise.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't think he's got his ability, his skill set, his level right now is not £100 million.
I just have to disagree. I think if you can sign a striker who has, experience of scoring 20 goals in the Premier League, that is worth that. Victor Osimhen's never scored a Premier League goal yet.
He doesn't play the game. Come on.
Clubs want so much.
Goal in the Euros.
He will.
He will eventually.
He will, hopefully this summer.
No, that's the other question. That's a 20 million gap. Not just Euro goals.
He's never played in the Euros. I think Toney is. I would say Toney at 90 million would be a good price for all clubs. No, I'm saying that he's worth close to 100 million. I'm saying Brentford are asking for more than 100. For me, a good price for Toney's 90 million. But Brentford are probably going to want 370. Okay, fair enough.
So we met in the middle at 80.
Final discussion. Yeah. Does he get on the plane for Euro 2024? I think the bigger question here is who does. Because for me, has he got the ability to be in the England squad? Yes. Does he get in over other people?
Oh, it's
a very difficult question. So let's nailed. Harry Kane's going to Euro 2024, provided he doesn't snap his ACL next week.
I'm thinking striking options, yeah.
So then, that's number one, starting striker sorted. After that,
Watkins.
Let's look at the pool. Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
Callum Wilson.
No.
Dominic Solanke.
Yes.
So that's no Toney.
No Toney.
Ooh.
Unless he has a...
Toney or Solanke, that is the good conversation. Why?
Because Toney hasn't... It's from... I've only seen Toney play 70 minutes so far. Before then,
he scored one goal. He averaged a goal every 70 minutes, man. Get him on the plane.
I'm joking, he didn't cheat. But he had 6 months off. Solanke is in brilliant form. I love that. I think it's a phenomenal.
But is it England call-up form?
Yes. 100%.
The problem is, I don't think Watkins is in particularly good form.
But he's Ollie Watkins.
But he's a very good player.
On his day,
that's the difficulty, I think, of the conversation. For me, Kane's obviously nailed. After that, it's very difficult to call. I think if we're going to have our best estimate, so not what we want to see happen, but what Southgate will happen, I think Toney will be on there with Watkins.
Oh yeah, of course he will. With Jordan Henderson and
But he's spoken about in the past.
Phil Jones.
Phillips won't play, to be fair. In English. Phil Jones also hasn't been called up for England since 2017, 2018, something like that.
He's retired, probably.
I don't know where Phil Jones is.
No, he still plays for United, doesn't he?
Does he? He definitely doesn't play.
Where's Phil Jones right now? Probably at home.
But yeah, Calvin Phillips obviously has completed his move to West Ham today, so potentially he gets in the team.
He doesn't. He's not.
But
it's a separate video.
Next week, why Harry doesn't like Tony, Calvin Phillips.
Oh, God, Henderson.
But for me, Toney gets in the team.
Oh, Henderson's like Ajax, well, he's going to get... Oh, no! We have to watch another Euros where Phillips and Henderson pass the ball.
Also, no, because it'd be so Southgate for Henderson to get in the team while he's at Al Ettifaq, but as soon as Ajax sign him, he gets out.
Southgate's on their payroll. Hashtag Southgate out.
Okay. Anyway, so market value, you saying 70, I'm saying 90. Turns where he goes, we have no idea at the moment, but
nowhere.
No way. You don't think he'll ever leave Brentford?
Oh, no.
Give a prediction. Summertime, what's happening?
He'll leave.
Where to?
Premier League.
Want to be any more specific?
Tottenham.
Okay. I will say he'll go to Arsenal in July.
I will go
after the Euros.
I think he'll go to
Slough in February.
Maidstone.
Good.
He's the FA Cup run there, right?
Yeah. He says, I bet that'll be fun to play for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's where we'll call this today's video. Pretty good one, do you think?
Yes, we're right.
Well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as well. But that's everything for us today. In the comments, tell us what you think of Ivan Toney. If you want to see more, it'll be covering Harry's face now. So click it and keep watching. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.